So ITFG is nothing but the Ind AS Transition Facilitation Group. So in case if you have any queries or if you have any expert views required, you can at any time write on to the ITFG about your case of the application. Then the ITFG gives their view over such cases. What are their view? What treatment should be given to it, and what are the provisions of the standard? So let's discuss the ITFG issues on application of Ind AS. So let's discuss the issues quickly. Applicability of Ind AS subsidiaries of listed company. So this was a case where the querist had asked if a particular subsidiary, how we have discussed already that if the Ind AS is applicable to the holding company, it is also applicable to the subsidiary company. Now, what the query was, if the subsidiary was the subsidiary as on the previous year, but in the year of actual implementation of the Ind AS, it is no longer a subsidiary. So, for example, in 2016-17 is the live year of Ind AS, but on 1st June 2016 itself, the subsidiary was hived off. So, in spite of the case that subsidiary is hived off, still on 31st March 2017, the subsidiary has to disclose the financial statements under Ind AS because the primary logic of Ind AS is once it is applicable forever. Then, the second case under this itself query was that if a subsidiary has been newly acquired in that particular financial year. So if my 2016-17 is a live year of Ind AS application and I have purchased or I have invested in a new company which is my subsidiary eventually on 31st December 2016. In spite of the case, you have to apply for that subsidiary also in its own standalone balance sheet. Ind AS will be applicable as on 31st March 2017. The next query is applicability of Ind AS to Indian branch office of a foreign company. For the purpose of Indian branch office, the Ind AS is not applicable even if the net worth of that branch office is more than the limits prescribed. Why? Because all this application of Ind AS is mainly to the corporate entries to the companies which are registered under the Companies Act. Branch office is merely an extension of the foreign company, and accordingly, to such branch offices, Ind AS is not applicable. Third, applicability of Ind AS to non-corporate entities. Again, it is not required for the non-corporate entities. For non-corporate entities such as partnership firms, your accounting standards are mandatory as issued by ICAI, but Ind AS is not required to be followed for such non-corporate entities. Fourth, applicability of Ind AS to Section 8 companies. For the purpose of Section 8 companies, Ind AS is applicable. So, for example, if you have a holding company and the subsidiary company of such holding company is a Section 8 company, even to such Section 8 company, Ind AS is applicable. There is no exemption to Section 8 companies, even under Section 133 of the Companies Act or even under Section 129 of the Companies Act. And accordingly, for such Section 8 companies, Ind AS is applicable. Then next query. Applicability of Ind AS to holding company when subsidiary company meets the criteria for applicability of Ind AS. So in this case, what was the case is subsidiary meets the initial criteria to apply the Ind AS and what to do about the holding company. So as it is said that it is a group level, if it is applicable to the subsidiary company, it is also applicable to the holding company by default. Then so no question arises further. Next, applicability of Ind AS to associate company in case of quarterly results. So what was the case over here is the subsidiary company. So if your quarterly results are as on 30th September 2020, for example, the associate company, the company invested into an associate company on 10th of October 2020. So what is the case is before finalizing the results of the company, they have invested into the associate company. Now, what should the associate do? For example, if both are the listed companies, so what to do? Or if suppose they are not the listed companies, in such cases, what to do? So, what has been said is that if you have invested into the company after the quarterly date is over, after 30th September, you should not consolidate the associate company as on 30th September. Ind AS is not applicable to the associate company for the quarter of 30th September, and it will be applicable from 31st December quarter. So even for the purpose of consolidation, you will consolidate that associate under Ind AS from 31st of December. Moving ahead to the next question. Applicability of Ind AS to holding subsidiary, joint venture and associate company through a direct or indirect association in case of voluntary adoption by parents. Now here there are two questions. So the question was asked is, if it is not a direct subsidiary but it is an indirect subsidiary, what does an indirect subsidiary mean? Subsidiary of a subsidiary. So in that cases whether it will be applicable. So the answer provided was, in any cases, whether it is your own subsidiary or whether it is your indirect subsidiary or even if it is your fifth level of subsidiary, in any cases, if it is considered to be your own subsidiary, then directly or indirectly does not make a difference. Ind AS will be applicable to all such companies. Even associate of a subsidiary company is your own associate. Even to such associates also Ind AS is applicable. So please, in any kind of huge group structures, do not miss on to the appropriate application for the purpose of this Ind AS. Now the second part of the query was, any companies, if suppose even if I have not reached the net worth criteria, even if I have not reached the net worth of 250 crores, still I have a voluntary adoption option available to me. I can apply the Ind AS voluntarily. So in such cases, what to do? Whether all the holding subsidiary, everyone the Ind AS had to be applied? Yes. Even if any particular company adopts Ind AS voluntarily, all the companies linked to it, holding subsidiary, associate, joint venture, to everyone, Ind AS will be applicable. You won't see that since they have applied voluntarily, we won't apply. This is not the case. So voluntarily or by the purpose of application of the provisions, by default the Ind AS is applicable to such kind of companies. Moving ahead to the next ITFG, computation of net worth for Ind AS applicability, government grant to be considered as capital reserve. Whether capital reserve will form a part of the net worth for the purpose of determining whether the criteria is met or not. Yes, the capital reserve will be considered in the net worth definition for the purpose of determining whether Ind AS is applicable or not. Next, applicability of Ind AS in case of negative net worth. The query raised over here was, I am the holding company, to me Ind AS is applicable. But to the subsidiary company, they have negative net worth. They don't even have the net worth. Whether Ind AS should be applicable to them or not. They are getting Ind AS applied due to their subsidiary. Due to that company is your own subsidiary company. Even if the net worth is negative, does not make a difference. Ind AS will be applicable to such kind of companies. So in case of group structure, even if one company is triggered, all the companies are triggered under Ind AS. One more important issue what was raised under ITFG was, in accordance with what you should determine whether a company is a holding, whether a company is a subsidiary company, associate or a joint venture. Now understand friends, the definition or the determination criteria under Ind AS and under AS is different. So there might be a case that a company was not a subsidiary company under Indian GAAP, but is a subsidiary under Ind AS. A particular company was not a joint venture under Indian GAAP, but is a joint venture under Ind AS. So what to do in that case? So the ITFG has clarified that you will have to apply the definition of Ind AS to determine whether a particular company is a subsidiary holding or a subsidiary joint venture or a associate company. And if a company is subsidiary as per that definitions, Ind AS is applicable to them by default. So don't see the guidance given under Indian GAAP, but see whether a particular subsidiary is a subsidiary in accordance with the Ind AS or not. So these are the various ITFG issued, and whenever you have time, please go through the compendium of ITFGs issued by ICAI. They clarify lot many issues given under the Ind AS. It will increase your